There's about 15% of the year's knowledge that can be lost over the summer, and most of that happens with reading. So summer reading program is great. Even opportunities to engage youth in games such as scavenger hunts or other activities that require the youth to read, maybe involving mysteries or puzzles for them to solve to help build on those skills and keep them reading for the summer.
The goal of reading books is to take in information, and it doesn't have to be the textbooks or any of that, but to learn vocabulary. You do that through reading, to learn the story, to be able to understand the emotions, the perspectives, the entirety of what it is to read.
According to the calendar, there's more than 90 days between the beginning of spring and the beginning of summer. However, many people, especially the parents of school-aged children, associate the start of summer with the last day of classes in late May. If that's the calendar you're on, there's only about 60 days between spring and summer. If that has your heart racing, now's the time to start planning what your kids will do this summer and taking some steps to make sure they have a safe, healthy, educational summer. On today's Sound Living, lining up summer activities for kids. Sound Living is a weekly public affairs program produced by Research and Extension at Kansas State University. I'm Jeff Wichman. Kansas 4-H Family and Consumer Science Program liaison Andrea Feldkamp says now's the time to start finalizing those summer plans and getting kids signed up for the programs they're interested in before they fill up or stop taking registrations.
Indeed, there's a lot of different opportunities that you can explore within your local community, but you have to look ahead and start that planning process now. The first step is to look around your community, and each community is going to be a little bit different as far as the opportunities that are available. Most communities may have a park and recreation services that has different opportunities available. There could even be school-based opportunities. A lot of schools will offer activities in the summer months. Churches are another great place to explore as far as vacation Bible school options or even camp-type experiences. Even athletics or music. There's lots of different opportunities for camp experiences, too, that youth can participate in particular school-age youth. And so registration for many of these aspects are beginning right now.
4-H has a lot of opportunities as well along those lines.
Yes, absolutely. And right now, youth are working on projects, but that definitely ramps up in the summer months. And so youth will be doing experiences related to those project learning, as well as a number of other activities that we always like to take in during the summer months. One of the popular things that kids like to do in summer is water. Hot weather, water is definitely a welcome thing. So swimming lessons are a good option for summertime, in addition to if water resources are available around, maybe boating or fishing. So those are different types of water-related activities, but we need to check into lessons or activities so that youth can be safe and prepared to participate.
There's also some community things they might consider. I know one of the things that you suggested was maybe checking out the local senior center.
Yes, and I think oftentimes the seniors are a resource that we don't tap into. Communities have different aspects, whether it's a senior center or even just more of an informal group of seniors that get together for meals or activities. But a number of those seniors are still looking to contribute to their community. What better way than to pair them up with youth and have them teach a skill or an aspect that they know about to a child who's interested or passionate about that? So partnerships through the senior programs are a way to help with project experiences, for example, or just help make sure that intergenerational exchange can happen.
We often worry about that learning loss that might occur, and reading is another way to keep up with that.
Yes, each community has a public library. Even the really small communities has public libraries, opportunities for youth to check out books or to read, and they're all part of a statewide summer reading program. There's about 15% of the year's knowledge that can be lost over the summer, and most of that happens with reading. Math is another area that we need to work on so that youth are ready to start back in the fall and not have what's called that summer slide. So summer reading program is great. Even opportunities to engage youth in games such as scavenger hunts or other activities that require the youth to read, maybe involving mysteries or puzzles for them to solve to help build on those skills and keep them reading for the summer.
Maybe not as fun as reading and playing with the senior citizens, but might be a good time for the families to get in for all of those regular checkups.
Yeah, so in looking at your child, we're looking at the whole aspect of health. looking now to schedule those summer dental checkups, eye exams, or even those physicals for back to school time, because many parents wait until that June timeframe and think, oh, I need to schedule this. Other parents are doing the same thing. And so then it becomes difficult to get your child in maybe before that first school bell rings for the next school year. So scheduling those now, you'll be on the calendar. Maybe you can get those out of the way in the early part of summer and you won't have to worry about them once the school year approaches.
Also making sure all those immunizations are up to
date. Yes. It's so important because with all the outbreak of illnesses reoccurring, definitely making sure your kids are updated on those is a good plan. And summertime's a good time to do that because you don't have to pull them out of school to have that opportunity. One of the other things that we like to look at in the summertime, and this pertains more to those teens, a lot of the things that I've talked about could apply to lots of different ages, but majority of the younger ones like the older mentorship. But the teens are when they're starting to narrow down, what's next for me? High school's almost done. Where do I go next? What do I do for school or career opportunities? And so summer could be a good time for them to job shadow, go to work for a day with someone that they think that is a career area that's of interest to them. And they can do some exploring and see what a day is like in that world. In addition, these older kids are ready to contribute to the community. And there could be maybe a project that needs to be tackled, whether it's some tree overgrowth at a house where there's an elderly resident and they're not able to get out to be able to cut those trees down or take care of those different aspects. Maybe it's pulling weeds on the local playground or a park, or maybe there's something that needs to be painted and just to help refresh and make things look a little better. Those teens are great. So allowing youth to have the opportunity to identify something in their community that needs attention and giving them the reins to let them take a look at making that better is an awesome opportunity for summer.
A lot of the things we've covered also are outdoor activities, so we want to make sure that we're safe outdoors.
Yes, and with outdoor time, usually that increases during the summer months because the weather's more desirable for being outdoors. But we just need to be cautious. Sun exposure to reduce or prevent that, making sure that we're using sunscreen. SPF of 30 is the recommended number. Pack water, drink water regularly, and also try to avoid some of those sugary drinks or even those caffeinated beverages because that can compromise your body's ability to stay cool, and that can cause you some issues with heat-related illnesses. So we want to try and avoid that. In addition, if people can avoid being out in that direct sunlight, which would be from about the 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. time frame. That's also good to seek shade during those times and not to be as physically active during those heavy heat times of the day.
Also along the health line, eating those smaller meals.
Yeah, eating small meals throughout the day. So having a bite in the morning and then throughout the day as you're hungry rather than eating those heavy meals will help your body cope better with those extreme temperatures and keep you with enough energy to be able to do all the fun things that you have on your agenda for the day.
And maybe making sure that those healthy snacks are easily available.
Yes. One of the things that I like doing for my kids is just having fruits and vegetables cut up and ready to go so they're easy to grab. In addition, freezing things like bananas or grapes or even blueberries. Kids love those and they're very refreshing in the summertime. So again, they're easy to grab out. You can even portion them out in little bags so they're ready to go and doesn't take any time at all.
Really just a great time to be together as a family. It's a little bit more relaxed in the summer.
Yes. There's not the schedule of all the school activities to attend to, and kids are still involved in the summer, but it's just a different pace. And so to just enjoy that time together and to take some time for outdoors adventures, make some memories, and plan now so that all of that can happen and it's not hectic once those months arrive.
If somebody needs more information, can they find some more information online somewhere?
Yes. If they visit kansas4h.org, they can find information on different health-related project aspects underneath our project resources. Different recipes are available in the Foods and Nutrition Project area if they're looking for activities with that, or even our Recreation Project for ideas on different outdoor exercise or activities related to the recreation aspect. They can check those out as well.
That's Kansas 4-H Family and Consumer Science Program Liaison Andrea Feldkamp. And if you're interested in helping prevent summer learning loss, K-State Research and Extension Child Development Specialist Bradford Wiles suggests enrolling your kids in a summer reading program.
And there are all kinds of summer programs through libraries and other organizations, but especially your local library. We have a tremendous public library system in Kansas. And so each and every one of them has a summer reading program for K through 12. Some of it is based on the number of books that you read, whereas my perspective should be much more about the amount of time you spend reading. So the goal of reading books is to take in information, and it doesn't have to be the textbooks or any of that, but to learn vocabulary. You do that through reading, to learn the story, to be able to understand the emotions, the perspectives, the entirety of what it is to read. And if it's a competition to see how many books you can get through, well, you're probably going to choose the shortest books that have the sort of least amount of layers of understanding, of talking about and conveying the human condition, which is really what books are all about. So I would caution that it's much more about the amount of time you spend reading than the number of books you have read. That, to me, is the measure of that. And then when it comes to building on other things, there are all kinds of great games out there that are either electronic through tablets or phones, but also just classic games to use math skills. And you can use flashcards, and you can reward your kids for success on those things. You don't want to punish them for a lack of success, but certainly there are ways to keep the mind sharp. And so what you can do is pick up on where they left off in May, and at least, if nothing else, keep those skills up so that if they're learning multiplication at the end of May, you can keep them going on multiplication. And heck, you might introduce division. Who knows? Then they'll be a little bit ahead of the curve next time they come in. But there are all sorts of resources out there. So for me, because I'm in early childhood, the National Association for the Education of Young Children, that's NAEYC, tremendous resources for summer programming, for summer activities for parents with young children. There are also resources out there for school age. So the United States Department of Education has some great websites. And then don't forget about all the summer activities that you can engage your child with. So 4-H, FFA, Boys and Girls Clubs, all of these things that are there to help develop children and youth.
And there are ways when you've got especially younger children that you can take just kind of everyday activities and turn it into kind of a school-type situation, disguise it so that they don't recognize that they're doing math as you make chocolate chip cookies or something. But there's other ways to do this without actually getting out a book or a piece of paper.
Absolutely. So what you're talking about is applied learning. And you mentioned it, cooking is one of the greatest examples of art and science all in one. So there's an art to making chocolate chip cookies, right? You put too much on and you end up with a cookie that's, the size of a dinner plate that's, slushy in the middle and brittle and hard on the outside. But yeah, you measure everything out. There are conversions that you have to make. So let's just say you have a recipe, but you only want to make half of that recipe. So you have to put everything in half. So for young children, that's incredibly exciting. And you can teach them cool things like motor skills and things like that. Like, okay, so this is the difference between a heaping tablespoon and a flat tablespoon, right? So all these really cool things that have to do with math and science. What happens in the oven is a chemical reaction. You don't have to break it down into what the exact molecules are doing, but you can say, hey, this thing hardens because heat's been applied to it and some of the moistures come out. And when that happens, you end up with this really delicious cookie.
That's Bradford Wiles, a child development specialist with K-State Research and Extension. To find out about summer programming being offered through Extension, contact your county or district extension office or go online at www.ksre.ksu.edu. Sound Living is a weekly public affairs program produced by Research and Extension at Kansas State University. I'm Jeff Wichman, and this is the K-State Radio Network.